The Diamond in the Rough by Nordryd. The halls of Crystal Prep Academy felt so cold and empty without her. You've never liked any of your classmates, except for one of them. Even in the toxicity of the school's atmosphere, there was a little beacon of purity that roamed the halls. The one diamond in the rough. And what a beautiful diamond she was. The halls of Crystal Prep were cold and intimidating, full of bullies and snobs who care for nobody but themselves, and will seek to humiliate anyone who doesn't, quote-unquote, fit in. And none of the teachers, or even Principal Cinch herself, seemed worried about the constant bullying that happened. All that mattered to them were their jobs and reputations. Such a prestigious school on the outside, and a truly poisonous atmosphere on the inside. The stakes were high, and everyone was on edge. Everyone was on the prowl for any opportunity to make themselves look better, no matter how minute. At least, the day was over, and it was a Friday. 2 days of solace from this nightmare of a school. Honestly, it might not be so bad if you could just find a friend, some way to fit in. But so far, nobody will give you the time of day. That's like the 17th time you've bumped into me today. I'm sorry, it was an accident. That's what you said the last time. And the time before that. And the time before that. Someone sounded angry. More importantly, someone sounded scared. Your curiosity draws you to the source of the commotion, and you see a pink-haired girl staring down a purple-haired girl with glasses. Really, I am sorry, the purple-haired girl pleads. I didn't mean to. Ugh. The other girl grunts, pushing the purple-haired girl back against the lockers, knocking her glasses off her face upon impact. You're such a klutz! My glasses. The pink-haired girl laughs as the purple-haired girl helplessly feels around the ground, desperately trying to locate her glasses. Ugh, you are so pathetic. The pink-haired girl taunts. It's no wonder why you have no friends. Your blood simmers as you watch, but the final straw is when you see a shiny puddle form on the ground under the purple-haired girl's face. Combining that with the sight of her trembling, you realise she's crying. And the pink-haired girl is just laughing at her. Fire ignites in your eyes. That's it. Hey! You shout. The purple-haired girl flinches, as if she thinks you're coming after her, whereas her bully doesn't just give you a sassy look. You get in between the two girls, looking the pink-haired girl dead in the eye. How dare you? You scold. Who are you? She asks. Does it matter? Just leave the poor girl alone, you say. She said she was sorry. You don't understand. She does it all the time, she says. So that gives you the right to bully her, you retort. Don't you have better things to do than torture classmates? The pink-haired girl just stares at you for a moment before bursting into laughter. Who's this? She chuckles. Is this your boyfriend or something? I'm not her boyfriend, you say. I just know this is wrong. Now please, just walk away. She just continues to laugh, serving to sicken you even more. Is this some kind of joke to you? You bark. You obviously don't know how things work around here, she says. But I suppose I do have better things to worry about than lesser classmates. She walks over to the pebble-haired girl and looks down at her. Congratulations. Looks like your boyfriend has come to your rescue. But if you bump into me again, you're going to have a bad time. The girl flipped her hair and began strutting away as if she did nothing wrong. I'm not her boyfriend, you shout. You're about to say more things, but you stop yourself. She's leaving. Best not to rekindle the fire. Where in the world are my glasses? The girl pleads. You look down and see the girl helplessly groping the ground around her. I see them, you say. Hold on. You walk over and pick her glasses up off the ground. You do the best you can to dust off the debris as you bring them over to the girl. Here, you say, handing her spectacles back to her. Her hands eventually find yours, and she takes her glasses back, immediately putting them back on. Thanks, she murmurs. You study her face and notice how raw her cheeks are, along with her bloodshot eyes. You okay? You ask. She doesn't make eye contact with you. She stares off to the side and rubs her arm. I swear it was an accident, she says. I believe you, you say. But it's okay. She's gone. You're safe now. It takes a moment, but she slowly looks back at you. You offer her a small smile. Here, let's get you up, you say, holding your hand out to her. She looks sceptical, but eventually takes your hand and stands up with your assistance. She looks at you again, and her face is one of curiosity. Why are you being so nice to me? She asks. Nobody's ever been this nice to me. You give her a smile. Because I know you didn't deserve that kind of horrible treatment. Slowly but surely, a tiny smile appears on her face. It's hard to tell since her cheeks are so raw. But is she blushing? Well, thanks, she says. I really needed that. No problem, you say. You let go of her hand, and you could swear you felt her attempt to reach your hand again, but missing. You introduce yourself to her, hoping to make her more comfortable around you, even by a small amount. What's your name? You ask. She blabs. Twilight Sparkle. Your heart chimes. Wow, that's a really nice name. She giggles a little and starts to play with her hair. Thank you, and thanks again for the help. I really appreciate it. Everyone else is just so selfish here. I wish I could disagree with you, you say. You okay now? Twilight smiles and nods. I think so. Good, you say. You're about to say something else, but a sound from Twilight's backpack stops you. It sounded like a bark. Spike! Shh! Twilight whispers. Do you have something in your backpack? You ask. Oh, it's nothing. I need to get going, she stammers before walking away. And thanks again for helping me. You give her a smile. Anytime, Twilight. You could swear you saw her blush right then, but it was hard to tell. She looks at you for a few more seconds before running off to who knows where. It was about time for you to head out as well. You start walking towards the exit, and as you walk home, you find yourself unable to stop thinking about Twilight. After a long Monday at Crystal Prep, where everyone is even more on edge than they usually are, you're in a hurry to get home and detox. Quickly but carefully, you make your way to through the halls, careful not to run into any... Oof! Out of nowhere, something hits you, sending you tumbling down to the ground. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's alright, you say, turning yourself over, only to see who it really was who bumped into you. Twilight? Oh, it's you, Twilight says. I'm so sorry about this. No worries, you say. Here, she says, holding her hand out to you. You smile as she helps you get back on your feet. Thanks, you say. You should really watch where you're going. Twilight sighs. I know. I just get so focused on my work that I don't pay too much attention to what's around me. Work? You ask. What kind of work? I don't think you'd be interested, Twilight says. It's kind of on the advanced side of, well, everything. I'm still trying to get a handle on it. I don't mind, you say. I'll listen to what you have to say. Twilight gives you a quizzical look. Are you sure? Yeah, you shrug. If nothing else, I want to be there to protect you if you bump into someone unforgiving. Twilight's eyes go wide. Protect me? You nod. I'd hate to see someone make you cry over an accident again. Again, you're almost certain Twilight blushed right then, but it was hard to tell. Well, alright then, Twilight says. Come with me. You nod and follow Twilight to wherever it was she was taking you. It's not really of concern at the moment. You just have your eyes peeled for any hostile students that you might run into. You seem to be better today, you said. Oh, Friday was just a really bad day for me, Twilight says. Thanks again for the help. It's no problem at all, you say. I'm glad that you're better. Twilight doesn't respond, but you see her glance back at you with a smile. Twilight, watch it! Well, oh! Twilight moves in a nick of time, out of someone's way. They give her a scoff as they keep walking. Oh, that was close, Twilight says. Thanks. You chuckle and shake your head. You're welcome. So, where are we going? Oh, right this way, Twilight says. You walk for a little while longer until Twilight brings you to a door in the hallways. Here we are, Twilight says. A janitor's closet? You ask. Twilight laughs. Just wait. You look at her quizzically and watch as she unlocks the door. She opens it, and behind that door was no janitor's closet. It was a private study. A desk with a desktop computer, a microscope, and test tubes. Another empty desk on the opposite side with a corkboard above it. The corkboard was filled with various pictures, all connected by lines of red strings. The far side of the room was filled with other devices you don't even recognise. Whoa, you say. Yep, this is where I do all my work, Twilight says. This is so cool, you say. What are you working on that requires a lab of your own? Come look at this, Twilight says, directing you to the corkboard. Are those pictures of Canterlot High? you ask. Yes, Twilight says. There's something going on at that school. Something strange. I've been getting some anomalous signals and they're unlike anything I've ever seen. I thought it was some kind of disturbance from solar flares or maybe even a faulty satellite or something. But this is something too weird. It's almost cosmic. I would even say supernatural. I'm not really sure what to think. I know there's something weird happening, but maybe if I got some on-site readings I would have a better idea. I've tried studying more in depth on some string theory and quantum mechanics, but I haven't quite found anything that seems even remotely like what I'm seeing. Are you following me? Sort of, you stammer. Twilight giggles. Oh, don't worry. Even I don't know what's going on. You jump at the sound of a bark. Is there a dog in here? You ask, panning the room. Twilight gasps. Spike! She rushes over to her backpack and opens it, revealing a little dog inside. I'm so sorry, Spike. I almost forgot about you. The dog jumps into her arms, making her giggle by nuzzling her face. You smuggle a dog in your backpack? You ask. Twilight sighs. Please don't tell anyone. I won't, don't worry, you say. Spike jumps out of Twilight's arms and runs over to you, sniffing you before jumping up on your shins. Spike, get down, Twilight says. He's fine, you say, reaching down to pet him. You know, the friendship games are coming up soon. Maybe you can get some on-site readings then. Maybe, Twilight murmurs. I just hope I don't have to participate too heavily. I hear you say. You take a seat across from Twilight, and you're surprised when Spike jumps up into your lap. I think Spike likes you, Twilight says. I think so too, you say. Twilight laughs and gives you a gentle smile as she takes a seat across from you. You know, I never would have expected it, but it's been really nice having someone to talk to. Why is that unexpected? You ask. Twilight is silent for a moment before sighing heavily. Well, nobody here seems to like me. Everywhere I go, no matter what I do, it's like I'm always in the way. As a result, I've never really focused on talking to others. My attention is mostly on my work. Why put effort into something fruitless? Well, I like you, you say. Twilight's eyes seem to light up. You do? Sure, you say. How do you figure? Twilight asks. Well, you're really nice, you say. It's a breath of fresh air from everyone else here. And it's great to find someone else who just tries to survive this school. You're different, and I like that a lot. Your words fill the room as Twilight sits silently. A few seconds pass before she starts playing with her skirt. Thank you, Twilight says. And thanks for being so nice to me these past couple days. It's refreshing to meet someone here who's just nice. A feeling of warmth fills your heart at her words. You and I just want to get through the day in one piece, you say. We gotta look out for each other, right? You watch as Twilight blushes and begins to play with her skirt. You can't help but chuckle a little. It's oddly cute. Yeah, Twilight mumbles. I suppose we do. Let me know if any of these girls bully you again, you say. You didn't deserve that kind of treatment last Friday. Twilight purses her lips. Oh, I don't want you to get involved. Oh, don't worry about me, you say. You're the nicest girl I've met at this school. The least I can do is make sure nobody tries to hurt you, right? Twilight is silent again, looking down at the ground. She doesn't pan back up, but you see her mouth slowly curl up into a smile. Thank you, she says. Really, thank you. The pleasure's mine, you say. So, what else were you working on? The timidity in Twilight's eyes seems to instantly vanish at your question. I'm glad you asked, Twilight said, springing into action. So like I said before, I've been trying to study string theory to try and understand the anomalies at Canterlot High. And you would not believe the stuff I've learned. This stuff is amazing. You can't help but chuckle at how enthusiastic Twilight is about her work. Nice, smart, passionate, and admittedly, pretty cute. How have you not noticed this girl before? You listen to every word Twilight says, trying to follow along as best you can. You are going to be here for a long time. That Friday. Twilight, you don't have to help me if you don't want to, you say. I'm sure you're busy with your own work, right? Oh, that can wait, Twilight says. Physics is one of my favourite subjects, and I'd love to help. Alright then. Thanks a lot, Twi, you say. Don't mention it, she says. It's the least I could do since you've been so nice to me this week. It's just been really great to have someone else to suffer through school with, you say. Twilight laughs. And it's been convenient to have another pair of eyes to watch where I'm... Twilight suddenly bumps into some guys as you're walking. Sorry, she says, catching up to you. Watch it! The guy shouts. The loud volume rattles your eardrum and prompts you to look behind. You turn your head to see an angry guy walking up to Twilight. Why do you run into everyone? Are you blind? Twilight tries to say something, but the guy approaches her and roughly pushes her, causing her to tumble to the ground. Hey! You shout. The sudden spark of rage takes control of you, bringing you face to face with the guy. Excuse me, but is there a problem? My problem? The guy snarls. My problem is that this girl is blind and can't see where she's going. She runs into all of us constantly, and I'm sick of it. So that just gives you the right to hurt her? You growl. It's time she got a taste of her own medicine, he shouts. Look here, you say, sizing the guy up. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I'm not here to talk morals, he says. Well, how about a deal? You snarl. Either you leave Twilight alone, or I'll give you a taste of your own medicine. Get the picture? The guy doesn't say anything. He just stares for a moment until bursting into laughter. Why are you standing up for her? He chuckles. Because she's my friend, you say. Now, get lost. The guy continues to just laugh. But you do your best to maintain a serious face, for Twilight's sake. Alright, tough guy. I'll humour you this time. I needed a good laugh, he says. But don't expect me to be so kind next time. Just go away. And don't let me catch you hurting Twilight again, you scold. Whatever. The guy shrugs before walking away. Letting out a breath of relief, you look behind you to see Twilight still on the ground looking up at you, and her eyes are wide open. You okay? You ask, reaching your hand out. I think so, she says, taking your hand and using it to stand up. That was unexpected. I know, you say. I didn't expect him to get so angry. Well, yeah, but I was talking about you, Twilight says. Oh, you mumble. I just didn't expect that from you, she says, but it was really sweet of you. You feel yourself blush. You didn't deserve that, Twilight. I had to protect you. You see Twilight's face mirror yours. That is, blushing majorly. Thank you, Twilight says. Really, thank you. You rub your neck and are about to say something else until you notice something. You're holding Twilight's hand. As soon as you noticed it, you felt the cold air grace your hand. Apparently, Twilight noticed as well. Anyways, let's get to the lab, Twilight says, rubbing her hand as her face goes even redder. Yeah, you stammer. Let's get going. With that, you and Twilight continue down to her lab. She doesn't say anything, but she does take glances back at you. Frequently. Her face seems to get redder and redder with every glance. You can't help but mirror her every single time too. See here, you can rearrange this equation to solve for momentum, Twilight says. And you can get the velocity by using the conservation of momentum. Combine those equations, and after that, it's just basic algebra. Oh, now I see, you say. Everything makes sense when you say it. Ugh, the physics teacher is terrible. I know, Twilight says. I already knew quite a bit before going in, though, so that was a big help. Wow, you're really smart, Twilight, you say. Twilight smiles. Thanks. I mean it, you say. You're like the smartest girl I've ever met. Twilight's eyes seem to light up. Really? Yeah, you say. And you're not pretentious or snobby like the other girls here. You're very genuine. You didn't realise how red Twilight's face was until now. You're expecting her to say something, but instead, she does something unexpected. She reaches up and undoes her bun, letting her hair fall down her shoulders. That's better, she mumbles. You find yourself fixated on Twilight as she lightly tosses her hair to straighten it out. The long, deep, violet strands float so elegantly, complemented by her pink streaks. She starts twirling her hair as she looks at you. Her big purple eyes seem to gleam behind those adorable glasses. The way she plays with her hair makes you feel warm inside. You feel a soft flame kindle in your heart when Twilight's lips curl into a smile. Perhaps the cutest smile you've ever seen. How have you not noticed how pretty Twilight is? Smart, nice, and beautiful. You know, you really are the nicest guy I've met here, Twilight says in a soft voice. Huh? You grunt? I am? Sure, Twilight says. Nobody's ever stood up for me before. Nobody's ever been concerned about me. You smile, rolling your chair over to her. You place your hand on her shoulder, noting how soft her hair feels. I couldn't let those bullies hurt you, you say. Twilight's eyes shimmer as they look at you, and then she pulls you into a hug, catching you completely off guard. Thank you, Twilight says. Thanks for caring. The soft fire in your heart burns even brighter at her embrace. So warm, so soothing, so wonderful. You've never felt anything like it, yet you loved it. You look down at Twilight as she hugs you, taking in the enrapturing lilac scent of her hair. You wrap your arms around her and hold her tight. You feel her relax in your arms, and you feel your heart start to beat faster. In the silence, you look inside your heart, and all you can see is her. Twilight. You give her a squeeze in your arms. Thanks for being you, you say. In an instant, you forget about studying. In that moment, only Twilight Sparkle mattered. Several weeks later. Oh, wait, Cinch did what to you? You beckon. She's forced me to participate in the friendship games, Twilight says. What? Why? You ask. Canterlot High's test score averages in athletics are apparently rising, and she's requiring me to participate to maintain Crystal Prep's reputation, Twilight explained. Wait, she can't make you participate, can she? You ask. If I don't, she said she has the power to deny my application to Everton, Twilight says, choking on her words a bit. Are you serious? You beckon. That's so selfish. I know, but what choice do I have? Twilight says. You notice something shiny running down her cheek. It's a tear. Oh no, don't cry, you say. Come here, Twilight. You wrap your arm around Twilight and she leans on your shoulder as she begins to cry. What if I fail the school? Twilight asks. What if she denies my application anyway? It'll be okay, Twi, you say, rubbing her shoulder as she sobs. Didn't you want to get some reading from Canterlot High anyways? Twilight sniffles, and her trembling seems to settle a little bit. I guess I did, she says. It's just, everybody already doesn't like me. What if I let everyone down and they hate me even more? Well, don't worry about that, you say. I know you'll do great. You're amazing at everything you do, Twi. It'll be okay. Twilight leans her head on your shoulder, sniffling as more tears fall. I hope you're right, Twilight says. She starts to cry again, prompting you to give her a hug. It's alright, you say. I've got you. A few days later. You're transferring to Canterlot High? You ask. Yeah, Twilight says, packing things up in her lab. What about Everton? You ask. I thought you had your heart set on that independent study program there. I'm having second thoughts, Twilight says. If I go to Everton, I won't make any new friends. Besides, I think Principal Cinch is going to have my application denied. Yeah, you mumble. Are you going to be okay? I mean, after what happened at the friendship games, I think I'm fine, Twilight says. I just need to get out of here. Away from Crystal Prep and away from Cinch. I hear you, you say. I'm sorry, I've been rambling, Twilight says. Did you have something you wanted to say earlier? You feel a lump forming your throat. There was something you wanted to say, but Twilight had something she wanted to say too, and you wanted to let her go first. You didn't expect the news to be that she would be transferring schools. For some reason, you expected it to be along the lines of what you were going to say. Something having to do with what you found within your heart after you met Twilight. Something you felt for a while, and have been wanting to get off your chest. But what do you say now? I was going to say... just... yes? Just thanks for being my friend. And I'm going to miss you. Silence fills the room as you lock eyes of Twilight. Her lips slowly curl up into a smile, and her cheeks redden. I should be thanking you, Twilight says. I mean, ever since we met, you've been nothing but nice to me, so... thanks for making my last few weeks at Crystal Prep enjoyable. You feel yourself smile as well, mirroring hers. The pleasure was mine, Twi, you say. Twilight pulls you into a big hug, and you immediately reciprocate. I'm going to miss you too, Twilight says. Thanks for everything. You too, Twilight. You too. You hold Twilight tightly in your arms, never wanting to let go. Not wanting to let your best friend get away. Twilight Sparkle. Even her name was beautiful. But now she was gone. All you had were memories. The frigid halls of Crystal Prep makes you recoil, holding yourself to stay warm. Your heart feels empty without Twilight's presence to comfort you, to let you know you're not alone in trying to survive this school. You had an idea of how much you liked her when she was here, but it hit you like a rock when she left. The fact that you've probably very seldom see her, if at all, was tearing you apart like paper. You walk through the halls and arrive at a familiar door. Twilight's lab. The door was locked, but you could still picture yourself in there studying with her. Something you always used to look forward to, but was just a thing of the past now. With the school day being over, and with nothing else to do, you sigh and begin walking to the exit. The sunlight hits you as you step into the outdoors, but even the bright sun wasn't enough to quench your sorrow. In fact, it was just a reminder of how early you were leaving school. Usually you'd stay after to help Twilight with her work, or to just hang out with her. The sun wasn't high in the sky when you walked out. Without Twilight, you had no reason to stay any longer than a normal school day. Your head starts pounding. If only Twilight were here. Maybe a walk around the city would help clear your mind. It was a nice day outside, and some exercise wouldn't hurt. Sighing, you start your trek around the city. Hopefully, this would clear your mind. You walk for about 20 minutes, and so far your head is still pounding. The sun is shining bright, yet it felt cold. The world around you is bustling, yet you only hear your own shoes scrape against the pavement. You look down at the ground, studying the grooves in the cement, wondering just how a certain girl would go about explaining how said grooves came to be. Maybe you miss Twilight more than you care to admit. That Friday. Normally, on a Friday night, you'd be at home recovering from a week of Crystal Prep, but not this time. Crystal Prep and Canterlot High had a football game today, hosted at Latter. Instead of spending your Friday night at home, you decided to come to CHS to watch the game. Well, with an ulterior motive. You had an excuse to come to CHS, where Twilight was, Maybe she'd be at the game? In all honesty, nothing was stopping you from coming to CHS by your own free will. But it might be a little creepy to Twilight if you came to her school just to see her. You pan around the bleachers frantically, trying to see if the deep violet Pink Street hairdo was around. You scanned around at least 5 times by now. You even spotted the rainbow hair of one of her new friends, as well as the rest of them sitting close by, but nothing. Twilight Sparkle was nowhere in the vicinity. Your heart starts to ice over at the realization of your fruitless endeavour. A girl like Twilight? You should have known that this wasn't her cup of tea. Sighing, you decide to leave. There's no point for you to be here anymore. As you walk through the entrance gate, you start your journey home. Until you see something that stops you. You might as well have stumbled upon gold. Sitting on the steps of the entrance of CHS was none other than Twilight Sparkle. A familiar warmth fills you at the sight of your best friend. It was really her. But that warmth didn't last long. She doesn't look too good. Her hands are covering her face as she looks down, and she appears to be trembling. She lifts her head up for a split second, wiping her cheeks before concealing her face again. You can't just stand idly by while Twilight cries. You start walking up to her, but cautiously as to not scare her. Twilight? She lifts her head and looks in your direction. Upon seeing you, her eyes seem to beam. "It's you," Twilight says, a smile appearing on her face. "Oh my gosh, it's you!" "Hi, Twi," you say. Before you know it, Twilight is running in your direction. You open your arms to welcome her and catch her in your embrace. "I can't believe you're here," Twilight says. "I've missed you so much." "I've missed you too," you say, squeezing her. "I'm so happy to see you." A few minutes go by of just holding Twilight in your arms, and every passing second was bliss. Twilight releases you and gives you the sweetest smile you've ever seen. "How have you been?" she asks. "Same, just surviving crystal prep," you say, "and missing you a lot." Twilight blushes and starts playing with her hair. "How about you?" you ask. A dark cloud appears to cast over Twilight. Her smile fades, and her eyes seem to darken. "They've been okay," Twilight says. "Are you sure?" "Yeah," Twilight says. "Why wouldn't it be okay?" "Because I just saw you crying." Twilight's face goes beet red, and her head slowly pans to the ground. You saw that?" she asks. You nod. "Tell me what's been going on, Twi." Twilight doesn't say anything. She just sits back down on the steps and plays with her skirt. You hear a small whimper from her as she looks around at everything except you. You sigh and take a seat next to her. "Twi, I just want to help you. I'm your friend, remember?" You try something bold and place your hand on her knee. "I don't want you to be sad." Twilight gasps as you place your hand on her knee. She looks at you with glitter in her eyes, and you offer a smile back, but the glitter turned into tears, pulling up in her eyes as she looks away again. "Twilight, don't cry," you say in the softest voice you can manage. You use your hand to turn her head to look at you. "Tell me what's wrong. I'm here for you." Twilight's lip trembles as a single tear falls down her cheek. Her eyes glance away from you, and she sighs heavily. They hate me. Who hates you? Everyone, she whimpers. I walked into the stadium and everyone was looking at me weirdly. I could hear them whispering as I walked by. Things like I'm a psycho and... I knew they wouldn't forgive me. You mean for the friendship games? Twilight nods. When I turned into that thing, that demon, I didn't mean for all that to happen. I don't know what came over me. I just felt so powerful. I was so fed up with crystal prep and that you all lashed out. Twilight sighs. Yeah. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that they're still angry. Twilight looks to the side and you follow her gaze, aiming at what was left of the Wonderbolt statue. I almost killed some students. I nearly destroyed the school, and I demolished a beautiful monument. Every time I see the pedestal, I see her. The demon? Yeah, Twilight murmurs. No wonder everyone hates me. I'm a monster. Twilight, you're not a monster, you say. You're the nicest girl I have ever met. She didn't seem to hear you. You see her break down, tears flowing down her cheeks as she begins sniffling. Oh no, don't cry. Come here, Twilight. It's okay. You pull her into a big hug, allowing her to cry on your chest. Twilight, that's all in the past. And it wasn't your fault. Cinch and the others pressured you. They had no right to do that, especially with forces beyond our control. It's not your fault. It's okay. But everyone hates me, Twilight whimpers. No, they don't, you say. What about those girls you met? Aren't they the reason you transformed in the first place? I guess they like me, she says. I just can't help but feel like they're still scared of me. I appreciate them very much, but I don't know. Twilight, I'm sure it'll just take some getting used to, you say. They're your friends. I'm sure they'd love to hang out with you. I know I do. I'm your friend, right? Twilight sighs and looks up at you. Slowly but surely, a smile appears on her face. It's not the first time you've seen her smile, but after seeing her cry so much, her smile is the most beautiful thing in the world to you right now. She lays her head back on your chest. I've missed you so much, she says. I've missed you too, Twilight, you say. But don't worry. I'm here now. Twilight embrace suddenly tightens around you. You feel her nuzzle your chest. Don't let go of me, Twilight says. Your heart melts at her words. She holds onto you tight and you do the same. I'm not going anywhere, you say. Twilight relaxes in your arms, holding you tight. For a moment, even the cheering of the nearby stadium didn't exist. Nothing else mattered but Twilight, feeling better. I know I've said this already, but you really are the nicest guy I've ever met, she says. You feel yourself blush. I just hate seeing you so sad. Twilight squeezes you. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. You try something bold and start stroking Twilight's hair. She gasps when you start but melts in your arms as you continue. Oh, she moans. That feels so nice. Her hair is so soft, like a feather. I like your ponytail, you say. Oh, thanks, Twilight says. I figured I'd do something different for a new school, you know. You spend a couple minutes just playing with Twilight's ponytail, running the soft strands of hair flawlessly through your fingers. Twilight just rests on your chest, looking serene. Twilight, did you know I think you're the smartest girl in the world? Twilight lifts her head up, looking you in the eye. You do? You nod. I've always thought that. You're really smart, nice, and pretty. The glitter returns to Twilight's amethyst eyes. You think I'm pretty? You smile, boldly lifting your hand to caress her cheek. To be honest, I think you're the prettiest girl in the world. She's completely silent and her pupils visibly dilate. She blushes harder than you've ever seen her blush before, and you feel your face mirror hers. You look deep into her gorgeous amethyst eyes and see something staring. It's in that moment you realise how close you are to Twilight's face. Your face copies hers as she slowly smiles. Her breath hits your lips, causing you to tremble. The heat of her lips could be felt on your own. Your heart is pounding against your chest, almost like it's going to break free. Twilight lifts her hand and places it on your cheek as she stares into your eyes. Another puff of her breath hits your lips, and it sends you over the edge. You cup Twilight's face and pull her in. Your lips touch, and you feel Twilight melt in your arms. You begin moving your lips, and she perfectly follows. Every movement of her sweet lips sends waves of unimaginable bliss through you. You wrap your arms around her waist and pull her close as your lips mold together. She uses her hands to caress your cheek. In return, you use one of your hands to massage her waist, evoking sexy moans from her. Passion fogs your mind as you experience your very first kiss. Was it possible to feel this good? And in an instant, it was over. You stare back into Twilight's eyes and find perfectly reflected awe. Wow, Twilight says. Yeah, you murmur. You know, I actually did some research on what kissing feels like, Twilight says. But wow, I never thought it would be that amazing. You can't help but chuckle. You sure do like doing research, don't you? Twilight laughs, and she looks at you with the most affectionate eyes you've ever seen. You really like me? Twilight asks. You smile and give her a peck, taking her hand in yours as you do so. Of course I do. How could I not? Twilight blushes again, and it's the cutest thing ever. You lift your hand to caress her cheek, making her moan. She lifts her own hand to touch yours as she looks at you with those beautiful eyes. Can I tell you something? Twilight says. Of course. Anything. Twilight nuzzles your hand and gives you an adorable smile. I've always liked you, Twilight says. I've never met a guy who cares so much about me like you do. You always protect me, and I feel safe when you're around. I've never felt like this about anyone before, and I honestly don't know what to do with myself. I just feel happy. Oh gosh, listen to me. You chuckle. It's always so cute when she's shy. It's fine, Twilight, you say, giving her a peck. Honestly, I've liked you ever since we met as well. The diamond in the rough of Crystal Prep. Not snobby or pretentious. Just genuine and beautiful. I just didn't want to ruin our friendship. You were all I had, and I couldn't lose you. Twilight smiles and interlaces her fingers with yours. I felt the same way, Twilight said. And CHS is nice and all, but I miss you so much. I miss you too, you say. Crystal Prep is a nightmare without you. Well, maybe we could get you transferred too, she says. School is nothing without my best friend there. Best friend? You say, giving her a peck. Don't you mean boyfriend? Twilight blushes hard, giggling as a big smile grows on her face. Oh, right. Boyfriend. Sorry, I'm still new to all of this. I've got a lot of research to do in relationships. You will laugh before giving her another peck. She's just too adorable. We'll learn together, you say, rubbing her knee. Twilight looks at your hand and places her own over it. Yeah, together, she murmurs. You smile and lean in for another tender kiss. She follows your lips flawlessly, moaning into your mouth. Her lips are like candy. How was it possible to feel this good? You pull away and Twilight's eyes are filled with light. She suddenly lunges forward and gives you a big hug, nuzzling your chest. You wrap your arms around her again, sharing the warmest embrace you've ever had with her. As you sit still, you can feel something amazing. Her heartbeat, perfectly in sync with yours. It was magical, as if in this moment, you were really one with her. Do you, want to come home with me and study together? You ask, brushing her hair. Twilight nuzzles your chest again before looking up at you with that beautiful smile. I think I'd like that, Twilight says. I knew you would, you say. Twilight giggles, making you chuckle as well. She had the cutest laugh. You give her a peck before standing up. You offer her your hand, and she accepts it with a smile. You help her up, and your fingers seamlessly interlace, making you feel tingly. Hand in hand, you start walking home with Twilight. It was a long trek from CHS to your home, but that just means more time holding your new girlfriend's hand. In the sea of snobs at Crystal Prep, you never thought you'd come across the nicest, smartest, prettiest girl you've ever met. And somehow, against all odds, she was yours. The world around you suddenly wasn't so cold. Your heart was alight with the softest of embers, burning thanks to your beautiful sparkle that you walked with. Your sparkle. Twilight Sparkle.